just help me relive that moment. I mean, it is written about by Mark Esper. It's a standoff in the Oval Office with Stephen Miller. Mark Milley was in the Oval Office as well. And it is about invoking the Insurrection Act. It's about using the military in historic ways. Tell me what you think when you can't get the current Secretary of Defense to tell all of us and you that that'll never happen.
Yeah, I think the thing that you want him to give a simple answer, right? And in other questions, he gave a simple answer. But there just seems to be this impossibility for him of just saying, look, I'm going to protect and defend the Constitution. I'm never going to execute an illegal order. I love the military, and so I'm never going to let that happen, because he's so devoted to Donald Trump. He doesn't want to do anything that gets him in more trouble. And it just, you think about Secretary Esper when he was, in those important conversations with the president. Your character really matters. These things really matter. And what if he hadn't had that character? What if that Secretary of Defense had gone out and said, you know what, all these peaceful protesters, just shoot at them to get them to move. They're making the president look weak. We'd be in a very different moment right now. So I think it's deeply frustrating, especially for me as someone who served at the Pentagon, worked alongside the military. I don't want Americans to live in fear of their own military.
Well, and the military doesn't want that either. I mean, just explain the dynamic for the National Guard in any state, but right now we have them in LA. They are largely from the community. They're now patrolling. What is that like for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think, right, the National Guardsmen are dentists and doctors and construction workers and people who either served before or want to serve in a part-time capacity when they're, and in addition to having a full-time job. So they very much are of the community. And I got a lot of staff and former staff that are guardsmen, and they have almost no training on how to do things in a law enforcement context. That's the thing that we're sort of missing here. It's not just about uniformed folks showing up in a city. It's about what are they trained to do, especially a Marine, right? An active duty Marine. They are trained to go after the enemy in a ruthless way, and we like that. That's a positive thing where we're dealing with adversaries abroad. But it's a very different thing to bring that same Marine into an urban setting. They've had, as we heard the head of the Marine Corps say, 2 hours of training on law enforcement techniques. It's just a very different approach to the world, and you don't want mistakes. You don't want them getting jittery and shooting at someone by mistake and causing a bigger problem. So it's not just about the letter of the law. It's about the training that the military has or doesn't have in the kinds of things we're asking them to do.